Hi everyone and welcome back to the Bolton Fan TV podcast. I'm back again, with Tyler as, obviously because he's the co-host, that would make sense. But yeah, we're back. There's not a lot to talk about, to be completely honest, but, we always think of things. We'll probably end up on a lot of tangents, as we often do, but yeah, we're here. First thing, just while it's fresh in my mind, as we're recording this, it is Friday, and Hickman, who is was technically a Bolton player, still is, but he has now been loaned out to National League side. I've forgotten what the name is. Kings Lynn, I think.
Kings Lynn. Kings Lynn.
Yeah, to Kings Lynn. So obviously we wish Hickman the best. This is kind of another one it's not necessarily a surprise, because I think Hickman's the one that you kind of expect almost to be loaned out at some point. But I mean, in terms of pretty much every loan that we've done has come out of nowhere, I think. There's not really been any signs that was going to happen. There wasn't any reports on it or anything. It kind of just happened. But yeah, I mean, obviously Hickman, I think, can be a very good player, very, very good player. Just needs experience, which I think is obviously the main reason he's gone out on loan. But yeah, do you reckon Hickman could come back from this loan and then potentially start having more regular football in the first team?
Yeah, I think he can contend against the likes of Jones and Brockbank. But the other person I think should get one, though, is Brockbank on the right-hand side, because I think he needs time away to get more experience, because he is clumsy a bit, but he does put in a good shift, either on the left or the right. Going back to the Hickman stuff, he will contend for Jones, and he'll give Jones a run for his money on that right back. Since when he's last played in pre-season before we got Jones, he outran that right back spot. And before we got Kioso, he outran that. He deserves his place in there. Not ahead of Jones, but switch between them now and again.
Rotation, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, he is a very good player right now, but I think he just needs the time to develop and hit that next level. Because obviously, I mean, Everett has made it, every Bolton fan knows that Everett has got high expectations for this team. So, if you're not on the correct level, he's going to let you know about it. And he's going to be like, especially with players like Hickman, he's going to be like, right, you're going here, you're going to like it. That's it. You better come back better. I assume it wouldn't have been that straight up, but I mean, you get the idea. But yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely a good thing, the fact that he's gone out on loan. Not like the whole Taff situation. Yes, I'm still bringing it up, okay? But I don't know, that's the thing, right? Every time we do one of these podcasts, it's probably going to get mentioned at some point. But that's just because, I don't know, I've said this before, I'd just like to know what was going through his mind when he made that decision, And then, yeah, anyway, we're not going to dwell on that because obviously that was a while ago. But yeah, I think it's going to be only a good thing for him. And then obviously, I hope he does come back, because we never know. But I hope he does come back, and I hope he does fit straight into the team again. Yeah. Now on to Bolton in general now, pretty much. Because, it's pretty much the same as last week. We're still winning, which is amazing, but there's not a lot else we can say. Yeah, I mean, we've moved up to 6th now. We were 7th last week, I believe, when we recorded.
8th. It was 8th.
We were 8th when we recorded the podcast, and we've now jumped up to 7th. I haven't watched the Oldham highlights yet, but I've seen one of the goals, maybe both of them, I'll be honest.
I've seen the red card.
Oh, I've seen that, yeah. That was on Twitter within 2 seconds of it happening. But, yeah, I mean, obviously, this is honestly probably some of the best football Bolton have played for a while. I'm not talking about just this season. Obviously it's way better than last season for sure. But just in general, I've said on a podcast before that, before this season, the last real moment where I was like, oh my God, Bolton can actually play football. And I'm not talking in the sense of, just run out and play football. Anybody can do that. I'm talking about, actually playing football, not just going out for a kickabout with your mates, But yeah, the last time I was like blown away by the way Bolton were playing was not the last time we were in League One, but, everybody will know the season I'm talking about. I think it was 15-16 season, potentially.
What are we on about?
Around that. Whenever we finished second in League One. Whenever that was.
16, 17.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, that was the last time I was like, oh, damn, we can actually, like, play football and not just kind of, like I said, go over the kickabout with your mates. But, yeah, this team has really now gelled and it is showing massively. I mean, I'm just as shocked as anybody, I'll be completely honest, in the sense of, at the start of the season, we were towards relegation. In fact, we were almost in relegation at one point. And in a matter of, 6 games, we've shot up to 6th. Like,
yeah,
that baffles me. 6 games is all it took.
5 wins, 1 draw.
But, I mean, I suppose it's also as well, given, me and Tyler have said this multiple times, football's unpredictable this season.
Yeah.
No matter what league, anywhere in the world, anything can happen. I mean, it shows League Two is very tight right now. We're like, 3-4 points off of the top 3? That's
4 points off. We're even 4 points off first and we play them next Tuesday.
Exactly. So
if we win tomorrow and win Saturday, win tomorrow and then win Tuesday, we could be top.
Could be. But, I mean, it obviously depends on other results. But,
sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's mental to think about, like the dream of potentially getting automatic promotion is still there. Obviously, me and Tyler, if you've seen Tyler's prediction video over on our YouTube channel, blah, 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 blah. I can speak English, I promise. But, yeah, if you've seen the video that we did at the start of the season, yeah, Tyler predicted that we'd finish in the top 3. I think you said 3rd, which is still a possibility. I was a lot more ambitious and said, wait, what did I say? My part never went out, but
you said first.
I think I said, yeah. So yeah, that happened. But I mean, both are still a possibility, but I doubt we are going to get first. I'll be honest.
Can't wait to do the end of the season prediction one. Find out how many I got right and how many I got wrong.
I mean, yeah. But yeah, I've lost what we were talking about, other than the fact that it was the form. But yeah, we're winning games, and it's a possibility that we could get automatic promotion, which is 3rd, which I'm going to be honest, I didn't know 3rd was an automatic promotion place until I looked at the table the other day. So
yeah.
I, for some reason, had it in my head that it was only 1st and 2nd. But yeah, I mean, 3rd, very big possibility. And obviously, it would be the easier way to do it, realistically. Because me and Tyler have said before, the playoffs would probably be your stressful time. But then looking at, our recent form and the players we've got now, like Maddison, imagine going into playoffs with players like Maddison, Kieran Lee. Well, I mean, Kieran Lee would be a guarantee, but, like all our loan players that we've got, like players like Williams, players like Maddison that we've brought in.
John.
Yeah.
John.
Players that we brought in. Yeah. Like we should, in theory, dominate playoffs. But again, it's Bolton Wanderers and it's 2021. Anything can happen. So
just point this out though. I'd laugh my head off if we get automatic promotion and Tranmere get playoffs and lose because they've been giving us stick.
Oh, don't get me started on Tranmere fans. Just don't.
They've been giving us stick.
Yeah, I mean, that's just Tranmere fans down to a T, innit? They're not really bothered. I mean, right now, Tranmere fans are probably celebrating every game that they win as if they've just won the league. Let's be real.
They're probably still celebrating the one against Bolton.
Probably. But yeah, obviously you could argue as well before somebody like commented on YouTube channel or whatever. You could argue that we're doing the same thing, but the fact of the matter is we're a better side than Tranmere. End off.
100%. Millions.
Yes, okay. All the Tranmere fans that are sat there right now with steam coming out of their ears are fuming that we've just said that. You look at it, one of the games you only won because of a referee. And the other game, you know what? Fair enough. We weren't up to it then. If you played our team now,
you would
honestly, it would be at least 3-0. I'm just saying. Yeah. But nevertheless,
you won't have the ref on your side. You won't have anything on your side. You'll get battered.
You would. It's just facts. But yeah, that leads me on to actually next thing I wanted to talk about. Is we've got some dynamic duos forming in the sense of we've got Doyle and Arthur. Just, not, by the way, I'm not talking about necessarily like assisting each other, stuff like that. I'm just talking in general. But obviously, one of the main talking points is Baptiste and Santos. Some have said that they are the best defensive duo in League Two. I would strongly agree with that. I'm not going to lie.
I know I've given stick in the past, but Baptiste has become a baller in that defence.
Baptiste, honestly, hats off to you because, at the start of the season, you were a bit on and off, but now you're becoming more consistent and obviously we're winning games, so you can't really complain. Yeah, I mean, do you agree that they are probably the best in League Two?
One of the best, should I say, the best defence we have in that league, and no other teams comparing to us. We've got John, we've got Baptiste, we've got Stonewall with Santos, and we've got Jones.
Our defence is pretty solid.
Plus Jilks behind as well. No other teams beating that.
Can I just say as well, Jilks, he's getting more praise than last week. But I still don't think he's getting enough.
Cracking saves against Oldham.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've seen a few of them. But yeah, I mean, just Jilks has been absolutely amazing over these past couple of weeks. And I, quite frankly, don't see enough people giving him credit. Obviously, I know, okay, he's goalkeeper. He's probably, realistically, the goalkeeper can be one of the most, how do I put this? Not unused, because obviously they're on the pitch, but like, goalkeeper is kind of the position where they're not going to be doing as much necessarily to do with the actual game. But obviously that just comes with the job. But, a lot of people I think are not giving Jilks credit just in the fact that, Jensen's not playing yet, which, to be honest, I don't think we need him right now. I mean, we will do at some point, let's be real. I think I
could see him playing Jensen like towards the end. As soon as he knows where our position is, he'll play Jensen, I think.
I don't know if that's the case because I don't know. To me, anyway, it looks like obviously Jilks is on form right now, so why would you take him out and risk? Jensen, he may still not be settled. We don't know, but let's say for the sake of this topic that he is settled. Why would you risk, putting him into that team and then, maybe making a mistake because maybe he might be nervous? I'm not saying he would be, but, to make a debut for a club like Bolton, it is a pretty nerve-wracking thing, I would imagine. So, especially when there's so much pressure as well from Ever on the players. Look what happened to Krellin. Yeah, okay, you could argue that he gave him too many chances, but as soon as Ever made up his mind, he was like, right, you're not playing. That's when he brought Jilks in, which was a very good decision. But yeah, I think it will just be the fact of he doesn't want to take an unnecessary risk, because obviously if he takes Jilks out now and brings in Jensen and then Jensen makes a mistake and we lose that game, that's kind of then falls on Ever. And it's like, well, why did you take Jilks out if he's on amazing form right now? It'd be a bit pointless. At least that's what it looks like to me. But I don't know. I think he might wait until Jilks isn't at his best And then he might be like, right, okay, maybe now's the time. I'm not saying that Gilks is going to cost us games, but I'm just saying in the sense of, maybe he lets in a couple more goals than he probably should do. Or maybe he just isn't. I don't know. Maybe he might just wait and see if Gilks can carry on doing this. He might just be running out this period of time, because obviously me and Tyler said when Gilks first started playing that we didn't know if he could play week in, week out. So far, he's proven us wrong. He can play week in, week out, but there's still the question of how long can he do it for, because obviously Gilks, I think before he played the first game for us, he'd been out. He hadn't played for over a year, right? I think that's what I saw.
He hadn't played for about a year and a half.
Yeah. So, and then to come in and then actually almost boost our form as well when he did come in was mental. Pardon me, but yeah, I just think he's waiting to see. There will be a point where Jensen will come in. That's just fact. But I don't know. Maybe Gilks will finish out the season and we've kind of brought in Jensen for no reason. But we never know. But obviously the main thing that comes to my mind as well is this is now going to be a bit about Krellin. I don't know if he's developed. I've said this.
No, I don't think he has.
I've watched him during training, to be honest. Inside Lostock on YouTube, and he's still spilling the ball in situations where he should hold the ball, and that's what cost us games earlier on in the season. And the fact that he's still doing that is a bit concerning to somebody on the outside anyway. Maybe on the inside, maybe he has changed, and I hope he has, and I hope he has developed. Because Krellin, I think, can, given the right coaches, can definitely be a amazing goalkeeper. But as of right now, it doesn't look that way, hence why he's not been given another chance yet. But I don't know. What are your thoughts? Obviously, you just said that you don't think he's developed as well. Why do you think that is?
I don't think he has, because I have seen some of the inside Vostok, what you were talking about. He keeps spilling them too much. Where I think I know I'm not a goalkeeper, but I think he comes for the ball too easily. Do you know where you see the likes of Gilks just
he almost goes for it just for the sake of it, doesn't he? Rather than actually thinking about it, he's kind of just like, oh, ball, come in. I must go. I'm not making it to be a simpleton as well, by the way. I'm just
he doesn't think of just in case the defenders are going for it or not. He just literally, mindset, ball, I'm having it. Goes for it. If he spills it, goes straight to the guy, goal.
I mean, the clip that comes to mind, again, I don't remember who it was against, but when he came out, tried to punch the ball, completely misses it, and then it ends up falling to the striker, and we lose that game.
There's two clips. That one's against Colchester, and the one against Newport.
Yeah,
he literally rushes out, and Santos is like, "What are you doing?" Santos moves so he doesn't get whacked in the back of the head. Crown comes out, hits it, falls to the Newport striker, over him, goal.
Yeah. But yeah, just going back to the inside Lostock as well, watching Jensen in training, he already looks better than Krellin, which obviously, again, no disrespect to Krellin, I assume he's not watching this, but I mean, if you are, no offense, but yeah, I just don't see him coming back into the team. I'm going to be completely honest. And by all means, I hope he proves us wrong and, does develop and, honestly, I hope he becomes one of the best keepers in this league. But I don't think that's going to happen. But yeah, just looking at the difference in Jensen and obviously Gilks, let's imagine Gilks isn't in the picture. Just Krellin versus Jensen in the training videos, Jensen already looks more comfortable when the ball is coming towards him than Krellin does. Krellin still almost looks nervous, I'd say, and when you're nervous as well during training, that should be alarm bells going off. But yeah, I don't know. it's a weird situation with the goalkeeper situation because obviously I understand why people are like, oh, but we brought in Jensen, but he's not played yet. So kind of what's the point in bringing him in? But obviously at the same time, you have to then look at it and be like, right, but Gilks is doing a very good job right now. So why would you take that out and potentially risk dropping points? Because obviously we know now we have to win as many games as physically possible just to stay in promotion places. That's just fact. I think the figure was like, I think Everett said 15 games, but I don't think that was right. But anyway, he said a few weeks ago, before like the second half of the season, he said we needed X amount of points to obviously to get to playoff places, which we've now done. And yeah, I don't know. Like we said earlier, top three still a possibility. Obviously, we'd like to be third, just so, you know, players can have a bit of extra rest and come back stronger next season and then push and try and get back to the championship. But, I mean, realistically, I think we will now get promoted for sure.
Yeah.
One way or another, we're going to we're going up.
Yep.
And you know what? You can clip this because I'm that confident that we will be promoted by the end of the season.
I'm saying it on my chest. We are going up. So we are going up.
I strongly agree. We are definitely going up for sure. Whether it be through playoffs or whether it be because we get top three, we are going up. We will be in League One next season. End of. I mean, there'll probably be a lot of Bolton fans that will probably call me deluded, but guess what? I'm confident. So
we have faith in the boys.
I mean, obviously, that's not to say that obviously you lot don't, but obviously, like, of course, every Bolton fan, besides the one guy on Twitter I saw the other day that was making a very bad reference, besides him, there was
I don't even know what you're on about.
Yeah, never mind. But yeah, obviously, we all have passion. You know, it just, you know, we all have difference of opinions. That's just it. There will be some Bolton fans that will be there, you know, and I'm usually like this, so this is very different for me to be this confident, especially in a club like Bolton who have never really done it by the book, essentially. So, yeah, there will be a lot of people that are there being like, oh, you know what, no, I don't think we're going to get promoted, but that's just so, you know, people will be saying that, whether it be because they genuinely think that or because they just don't want to be disappointed if that happens. So, it's almost like that thing, you know, don't have, I don't know what the saying is, but it's basically like don't have expectations and then you're not going to be disappointed. Yeah, I'm usually one of those people, especially when it comes to Bolton, because our track record isn't great. But yeah, I do think we'll get promoted for damn sure. And if we don't, we don't. But I don't see that. You know, I don't see an outcome where we do not get promoted. That's just it. I think Tyler's frozen right now.
You froze for me.
There we go. He's back. Apologies for that if we both froze at the same time.
Yeah.
But your internet connection is unstable. Great. Well, this is going well. We should be good. But yeah, I don't know if any of that was heard, but I'm going to assume it was. But yeah. Let's move on. Let's just talk about our form in the past couple of games. I know we've been doing that, but more specifically to the games. So, like I said, the Oldham one, I haven't really seen the highlights. I've just seen, I believe I've seen the goals. But yeah, I mean, just give me a quick rundown of, were we good? I don't know.
We were obviously better than them, obviously.
I mean,
we absolutely outplayed them. Madison, close again with a shot. Doyle should have had two. Even Arthur should have had one. Arthur should have had one. The own goal was so unlucky. I feel sorry for the lad.
I mean, that's just football, though, isn't it?
Bad position, bad time.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. And then I think I saw Doyle's goal. Wait, Doyle. Was it Doyle?
Miller again with the assist. Miller and Doyle.
Miller, I mean, as well, Miller's been on mental form as well, by the way. But yeah, Doyle how many goals is he on now? He's on
13.
13 goals. I think the 25's still on, I'll be honest. But I mean, I don't know if he will get 25, but you never know. But yeah, I mean, overall, it sounds like we were the better team. Which, I mean, even if we lose a game, we were the better team. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
We just have been. It is nice to see that we are scoring goals that win us games, but at the same time, I do think it's like you just said. You know, Arthur should have had one. Madison should have had one. Everybody should have had one. You know, but
Go on, Jokes. You get a goal.
That's just. I think that's the only thing we need to improve on now. We have to be even more clinical. Like, okay, yes, we are still winning games, which is fine, but you know, if there is a game, for example, the Barrow game, I'd argue. I know again we still won that, but the fact that we had so many shots and only scored one goal is a bit. It's not concerning because again we're winning games, but it's just a bit like it's like. We probably should be scoring more goals. And obviously, if we score more goals, we put the game beyond doubt. And, you know, we become an even better side. But yeah, I think that's the only thing we can really improve on, to be completely honest. I think everything else about the team right now is almost perfect. You know, we've got a lot of people that are on form. You know, we've got our super subs. In the sense, whether it be Madison 1 week, but you can guarantee Arthur's probably going to be super
Arthur, Isgrove.
Yeah. You know, it's like Everett said, we have firepower on the bench. Every game, whether they're starting or not starting, we have firepower in the sense that, you know, when we get to the 60th minute, 70th minute, 80th minute, we've got people we can bring on that can change the game instantly. Arthur, I think, is the prime example of that. You know, we've seen it a few times.
Yeah, we've
seen it a few times this season where they come off the bench and instantly the game's flipped on its head. In a good way, not in the sense of, you know, screw it up. But yeah, a lot of people as well actually have said that Arthur should actually get, you know, more consistently get into the starting 11, which I agree with, but at the same time, it's not a bad thing that he's starting off on the bench because, again, he's still impacting the game. He's still helping the team win games. So, yeah, I mean, he is getting more regular starts, but I don't know if he's going to get week in, week out because at some point, he's probably going to have to replace someone. But, yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I think he should start getting some week in, week out instead of like, no offense to the ball, but he is doing well. But Delfonso, because I think I'd want to see the partnership starting like from the start instead of like coming on like say 60th minute or 70th minute and then forming the duo straight away. I think if they start together like Doyle and Arthur, give some time to like pass it about, sort movements out. For like I've seen in some of the recent games, as soon as Arthur came on, it was like 5 minutes and the duo was sorted already.
Yeah, I do get what you're saying, in the sense that, you know, if as well, for example, if Doyle and Arthur both start, it seems that we end up scoring sooner, in the sense that, you know, it's not taking us as long. Whereas obviously as well, if Arthur comes on in like the 70th minute or like 80th minute, then obviously that is then time restricted in the sense that he's only got, you know, if he comes on in the 80th minute, he's got what, 10 minutes to blooming do
10
something?
minutes plus stoppage.
Yeah, he's got 10 minutes to do something, which he can do. It's not a guarantee. It just puts more pressure on him. Which I think a player like Arthur, I don't know. I don't know if he's one that, but I mean, obviously, again, we spoke about Evert's, you know, the pressure he puts on this team, but I don't know if Arthur's one of those players that like performs well under pressure, or if he needs to be a bit more laid back in order to perform. But yeah, I don't know. I would like to see him, you know, start week in, week out. especially when Delfonso, he is a bit average right now. But, I mean, it is expected, you know. He dropped off in form. He's come back. He had a few good games, and now he's kind of in that middle area where it's like he's not doing bad, but he's not doing anything that's amazing, you know. But I'm sure Delfonso will be back to himself very soon. And he's still all over the place, which is what I like to see. You know, he's not just wandering. He's actually running all over that pitch, which is a very pleasing sight. But yeah, on to the Bradford game tomorrow. It's going to be a very tricky game, I think. It's going to be one of our harder games, for sure. I think we've got a run of pretty difficult games now, right?
Bradford, Cambridge, Forest Green, I think.
Forest Green is a bit, I don't know, it's a 50-50 because Forest Green haven't been on the best of form lately. Yeah.
Try and watch that.
Obviously, the Forest Green game, which is on the 27th, I think I read. But I think that's completely wrong.
17th or 12th or 17th or something.
There's a 7 in it. Yeah. But you'll be able to find it. I think Bolton obviously tweeted that a few days ago. So, yeah. But yeah, we've got pretty difficult games coming up. But, I mean, again, this could just be us being way too confident. But I think we can still win those games. It just obviously depends on the day. But I think Bradford, you know, we're going to be looking for revenge anyway, because obviously we haven't played them since the start of the season, and we lost. But
1-0.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think we can beat them, especially with the quality we've got. It's just a matter of what they're like, because I haven't seen anything since we last played them, and I don't even remember that game. So, I don't know. It could go either way, realistically. You know, I reckon it could even be a dull game, and it could be a 0-0. But obviously, we want to win, and we have been finding ways to win. So you never know. Maybe if it is a 0-0, maybe in the 90th minute, man like Arthur bangs in a goal, or Miller. You never know. But yeah, I mean, how do you see this game panning out?
I'm actually going to go 3-0, Bolton.
Jesus Christ.
Yep, 3-0.
3-0?
Doyle.
You do know it's Bradford, right?
Yeah. Doyle twice, and I'm going to go Miller.
Where we're at, Bradford are towards top of the table, right? Or have I completely made that up? I think I've made that up. One sec. Wait, so are they further down? What?
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously we're sat in 6th. Oh, they're 10th. Mad. Okay, I don't know where I got that from, but yeah. But yeah, I mean, just as well, while I've got the table up, it is very close. Honestly, the points are mental, realistically. But yeah, Cheltenham at the top of the table with 56 points. Cambridge are second with 55, and then obviously Forest Green with 54. Bolton, sat in 6th, are on 50. We are 4 points behind Forest Green, which is mad. And we are 6 points off of first. It's not impossible.
2 wins.
It's literally not impossible. And Forest Green, in fact, let me look at their recent form, because Forest Green is one of the harder ones, especially when it comes to...
Tuesday will be hard as well.
We need to beat Forest Green, though, in order to almost, close the gap. But yeah, let me look at their recent form, because I know they lost the other day. Okay, they actually... Okay. Hang on. Where is it? Okay, so this is their past 3 games. Okay? Now, they played Southend. This is one that shocked a lot of people.
Even shocked me. Shocked me as well.
It shocked a hell of a lot of people. Forest Green lost 3-1 to Southend. How?
3-1.
How? That's not possible. Then they went on to beat Colchester 3-0, which, okay. But then the most recent game, on the 2nd of March, they lost to Stevenage 3-0. So, Forest Green, their form has been a bit up and down lately.
Bradford?
Let me have a look. Bradford. Where are they at? There they are. All right. Bradford's. Oh, God. Although, okay, the past 5 games, they've won them all.
Oh, great.
Well, no, but you said that. Scunthorpe were the same, and we beat them. There was another team that was the same, and we beat them. I've forgotten who that was. I think Barrow was the one that was on form, and we beat them.
So who's the beaten then?
So, hang on. They have... I mean, the teams you'd expect them to beat, realistically, but... I mean, they beat Cheltenham 2-0 on the 20th of February.
Oh.
23rd of February, they beat Leyton Orient 1-0, which obviously we beat them. Was it 2-0? 2-1?
2-0.
2-0. And then, to be fair, they look like they're struggling against teams they probably should batter. I'll be honest. Walsall, they won 2-1. But then against Mansfield, they only won 1-0. So, I don't know. They don't seem to be on the best of form, but obviously they're not on the worst of form because they're still obviously picking up points. But I don't know. I still think it's going to be a hard game. But judging by those scorelines, like the Mansfield one stands out quite a bit. Like, a team like Mansfield, they're okay. They're a decent side, but Bradford should probably put them away. I mean, we can't really talk about that because Bolton have had a few games like that. But, you know... But yeah, I don't know. I still think they could turn up and give us problems for sure. I don't know. But judging by their scorelines, it looks like they also have an issue of being
consistent.
No, like, they're pretty consistent. But what's the word? I've forgotten the word completely. I said it earlier about when scoring clinical. That's the one. Yeah, it seems that they're not as clinical as they probably could be. Obviously, I don't sit and watch Bradford games, so I can't really, comment whether that's the case. But it looks that way, at least. Just judging by the fact that we've had similar results and we're not clinical, or not as clinical as we should be. But yeah, 3-0, you're saying? I mean,
yeah,
it's not impossible.
Backing the boys.
What
Which I've done all season.
Do I go positive or do I go for a draw? I'm not going for a loss because I don't think we'll lose. But
changing.
What did I say last week? I don't remember. Was I positive?
Yeah, you went 2-0, I think.
2-0, okay. I'll say 2-0 again. We'll go with it. I think Doyle will get one, and I reckon the man, the myth, the Miller will get one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, in my brain, I'm actually thinking about it, and I'm like, oh, but this could happen, and then this could happen, and it's just... Anyway. But yeah, so obviously a 3-0 is what's predicted by Tyler, and then the 2-0 is what I have predicted. We just have to wait and see what happens now. I'm confident going into the game. I'm going to be honest.
Definitely.
I just don't know if we will comfortably win. I think if we do win, it's going to be a close game. I think just in general, this could be a game where we don't necessarily dominate the other team. Because obviously in recent games, we've dominated the ball. Like, we've had more possession. Or at least it looks that way anyway. I don't know about the actual stats, but, it looks like, I think it was something stupid, like 23 passes or something that we did before Doyle scored in our last game. It was 20-odd passes. And that just shows, like, can you imagine Bolton doing that last season? Can you imagine if we did that last season, actually? We'd actually have had a decent season.
We'd be in the playoffs.
We'd actually have a decent season. But, yeah, I mean, actually, let's briefly talk about that, actually. Me and Tyler have both mentioned stuff like this, again, in previous episodes. But, yeah, like, for example, players like Bridcut that were loaned in last season, would you like to have maybe seen them stick around and maybe, not necessarily this season, but just in general, maybe stick around and, because, I mean, I've said before that it would have been interesting to see like Keith Hill manage a Bolton side that hasn't got -12. I think that would be. I mean, it wouldn't be the most amazing of seasons, but I think it'd be interesting to see. But yeah, do you think players like Bridcut, like Verlinden, would have been a good fit for like this team?
I think Verlinden would have been, because he's
Verlinden baller. By the way.
Yeah. Best of luck in Netherlands, by the way. He could have stuck around, and him and Politic could have been ballers on them flanks. No offense to like Iskrel, but yeah, them two on the flank, and then maybe switch from one side to the other, or player one, bench, player one. I think he would have done well with the likes when we had Kioso, because he could have helped Kioso to push forward, and then he could have come back a bit, and then if ball's been lost, he could have took it off him and then crossed it in.
Verlinden, he honestly, you know when you see on Twitter them like posts of people that are like, what's the one loan move you wish you could have back or something? Verlinden is always the one that pops into my head every single time. Obviously there'll be people that'll be like, oh, but what about Lafondra? I'm sorry, I'd take Verlinden.
He wasn't alone.
He was to begin with. You know, he was. Yeah, we loaned him. Honestly, he's been at Bolton about 4 times, lad, and we've loaned him before that. So, but yeah, Verlinden's always the one that pops into my head, just because of how he was. Like, even as well, the one thing that stands out as well, obviously as Bolton fans, a lot of you will know Fogden, the YouTuber. He was going through some stuff with I think his friend had committed suicide or something. And around that time, he still went to Bolton games, obviously because COVID wasn't a thing. And Verlinden gave him his shirt that he wore that game. Like, he didn't have to do that.
Yeah, I seen the walk.
Like, Verlinden, honestly, he just strikes me as such an amazing person. Like, the fact that he's on loan at the club and, you know, he then obviously has figured out who Fogden is, and then, you know, seeing he's going through some stuff, and then gives him like his shirt from that game.
Signed shirt
is a madness. But yeah, I mean, Verlinden is the player that I wish would come back. Obviously, I still wish Lafondra would come back, which hasn't. That's interesting actually. Hasn't their season finished? Or am I tripping?
No, they've got a few more weeks.
No, because I don't know. There was a picture on Instagram the other day that I saw. They were posing with the trophy. Has the league finished, or is there still some cups to do and stuff?
I don't even know. No offense to the country or anything. I do not.
Yeah, I don't have a clue.
I know the football encyclopedia, but I do not know about that country.
Yeah, the only reason I know this is because I followed Mumbai when Lafondra signed for them, so that's the only reason. But yeah, I don't know. Let me try and find that, actually, because that's going to...
Is he going back to Sydney? Is he coming back to us, or is he staying at Mumbai?
Well, I don't know, because from what I read, the reason Sydney loaned him out was because, well, one, his contract was very close to coming to an end. But then they were kind of just like, you know, we can't necessarily afford to pay all of your wages. I think that's what I saw somewhere.
We can.
I mean, it does appear that way. I'm not going to lie, but... hang on, let me quickly try and find this. Because it's going to bug me otherwise.
Ever get in contact.
I think they're playing today, actually, Mumbai. I'm not too sure.
All I know is Lafondra's the top scorer in that league.
Oh, they're in a semi-final today, a cup. I know that. I think the league may have finished. I'm not too sure. Why did they post so many times in one day? Jesus Christ.
You'll have to type it in Google. Was it Mumbai City?
There's loads of... Look, like... Oh, so... See, right. I'm confused because I don't know what their actual league is over in India. Because there's one here of them holding... the Hero ISL League Shield. But I don't know if that's the main league or if that's just a cup.
What's the team now?
The team now?
Yeah, Mumbai.
Oh, Mumbai City FC. But yeah, I don't know. There's loads. Yeah, they've won something called the Hero ISL Shield. Again, I don't know if that's. Oh yeah, no. I think that is their league because it says league winners. So the league's finished. They've just got a couple of cups left to do. But I mean, yeah, that's an interesting thing. Obviously, me and Tyler have made no secret that we would love Le Fondre to come back to Bolton. It would just be the best day of my life. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, whether it will happen is a completely different story. I think honestly, now this is no disrespect to Delfonso, but maybe, you know, I think if Le Fondre ever did come back to Bolton, especially around this time, not necessarily that, but I think he'd come in. Obviously, he's going to have to play instead of someone. So I reckon the person he'd probably replace, at least right now, would be Delfonso, which I'm going to be honest, I ain't going to be mad about. You know
when you were saying about Le Fondre's cousin?
Yeah.
Guess where he is? With Le Fondre.
Is he?
Yeah.
Is he in Mumbai?
Yeah.
Mad. Don't know when that happened. But yeah, I don't know. Like I've just said, I don't think, you know, I don't think it will happen, but I mean, it could happen. Tyler looks shocked. I'm confused.
On about Le Fondre. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he's balling it this season.
20 goals in 125 minutes. Goals per match, 0.55.
See, this right. Why does this surprise you? We know Le Fondre can do this. Why are you so shocked?
I didn't think he'd do it in that league, though.
Why? Like, Le Fondre's a baller. He's been everywhere. Sure. He's been in every league, I'm pretty sure. In England, anyway. Pretty much. But yeah, I mean, Le Fondre. Please, if somehow you're watching this, please come back.
Get in contact.
It would be so
we'll have you on the podcast.
Oh, it would be amazing, you know. Have Le Fondre come back.
Imagine the scenes. He signs for us, and then he's on our podcast.
He does another blooming I'm back video. Have you not seen that? Whenever he last signed for us.
I'm back.
I'm back.
Guess what team I'm at?
Again.
Guess what team I'm at?
But yeah. I mean, just thinking about it gives me goosebumps. That's not even a lie. But yeah, whether it will happen, we don't know. By the way, that's not like a transfer rumour. There is no rumours that will happen. I'm just saying it's not impossible, you know? But I don't know. It all depends if, you know, obviously, one, what his wages are, and two, if we can afford them. Which, obviously, I know we brought in Maddison on loan, but, I mean, Maddison would have pretty big wages if we did, you know, sign him.
I think he does want to stay, I think.
Who, Maddison?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd take it. I said this last week, I think. Of all the loans we brought in, I think Maddison should be priority to try and make permanent. But yeah, also another thing, just to kind of finish off, I don't know how long we've been going for because there's no timer on my screen this week for some reason. But yeah, to finish off, it does now appear that obviously since the Britons, if you don't know, Football Ventures, that, you know, the ones that are literally, in my eyes, they are God, because obviously they've kept us alive. And yeah, it does now appear that we are in a more financially stable situation. which is obviously massive. Obviously, I don't think we're completely out of the water in terms of certain debts that still have to be paid, but you know,
there's two debts that needs to be paid.
Which, I mean, compared to literally last season, is
where we had about say 20 debts that have to be paid.
I mean, madness.
You know,
and then the minus 12. You know, the devil that we should not ever mention ever.
He's now at a club in Dubai.
I feel sorry for them, but you know what? It's not our problem, so have fun. But yeah, I mean, it does appear that we're now in a more financially stable situation. What do you reckon can be done though? Like, do you reckon we can start maybe, you know, being a bit more of a normal football club when it comes to transfers and stuff? You know, like because obviously with us, the transfers we've made are the ones that are permanent have been free transfers. We haven't actually bought anyone, so to speak. But yeah, I mean, do you reckon we can start being a bit more of a normal football club in terms of that?
Yeah, but I'd say starting next season, I think we will. Because I think if Everett is still here, hopefully he is.
I mean, if he's not after the performances we've been doing, if he's not here, I would question the Britons. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. And I think he does want to sign someone. I think he wants to sign about 3 players on permanent transfers. Like, actually go out and buy them.
Which I do think Maddison's going to be at the top of his list because
I think he wants to buy an actual keeper as well.
Yeah. I mean, we need that for sure.
He wanted to buy a keeper, another striker before like getting like, say, Arthur and Miller.
I feel like actually, I wouldn't mind that being permanent. I'm not gonna lie.
And I'd say get another defender just in case someone else goes out on loan or gets injured. I think that's what he wants to try and do.
Yeah.
Depending on the budget wise.
Yeah. That's obviously again the main thing. We obviously do not know anything to do with our finances, but other than the fact that we are still in debt, but it's nowhere near as bad as it was. And as we just said, we are more financially stable now since the Britons have taken over. Which, by the way, can we just massive round of applause to the Britons as well, by the way. They are, honestly, the best owners anybody could ask for. You know, just one thing that springs to mind, Sharon Britton, a few months ago, I think maybe before the season started or just as it started, there was, I think a fan had an issue or something with his season ticket or he was ill. I'll be honest, I don't remember the situation perfectly.
I think I know what you mean. I think he was ill and he didn't want to lose his season ticket.
Yeah, he didn't want to lose his season ticket. So then Sharon Britton, I think, did she pay or just give him a season ticket? She's either paid for it or she's given it to him.
I think the kid wanted to give it to like his granddad or something so he can go while he's ill.
Yeah. I mean,
and Sharon Britton paid it off for him.
Yeah, which is, I mean, you know what? Fair play, because there is not a lot of owners, especially the Devil. The Devil would never have done that, ever.
The Devil would be like, no, I'm ripping that season ticket off. No.
And it'd be like, you can't give me money anymore. Well, why would I give
unless you give me this amount of money, I'll sort the club out and I'll give you your season ticket.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just mental. I think there was another one the other day that she's done. I'll be honest, I didn't read that one, but I think she did something the other day. But yeah, just massive credit to the Britons because one, not just for saving our football club, but for actually caring about this football club. I mean, literally a season ago, we were on the brink of not being a thing anymore, which...
Of liquidation.
Yeah, I mean, we were about to disappear off the face of the earth. Like, 100 plus years of history was about to be wiped. And obviously, sadly, Bury didn't make it. But by the way...
They're doing well, though.
Are they doing well? Because apparently they've still not got a takeover, which baffles me, to be completely honest.
But yeah, it's still this is what annoyed me. EFL did not grant them to come back to League 2.
No, it was National League, I think, as well. They weren't even allowed to enter National League.
What division?
I don't know, but they're low down on like the football pyramid, aren't they?
12th tier of English football department.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Club
Everyone
like
was
Bury,
fuming.
look, like, okay, I understand you've got rules and regulations that you've got to follow. Cool. But I'm not being funny. When there's a club like Bury who have been around just as long as Bolton have,
One of the first ever clubs.
Yeah, and they've just been Thanos snapped out of existence, and it's like, now there's a lot of conspiracies almost that come out of this, which we definitely got lucky in the sense that we were talking to the right people at the right time, them being obviously Football Ventures, but yeah, with Bury, there was a lot of stories that came out around that. And, apparently there was an offer on the table 15 minutes before the deadline, which never got considered. I don't know how true this is, so take this with a pinch of salt. But, yeah, and then obviously now there's still stories going on. Like Tyler just said, they weren't allowed back in League Two. They weren't allowed in National League. I think that got denied. And now they've been plonked in the 12th tier of football. Like, it's ridiculous, to be quite honest. And obviously, I'd say now the league in general is a bit more financially stable. Obviously, there's still clubs that are going to have money trouble, but there are certain situations where that can't necessarily be avoided. But I mean, as far as I'm aware, the EFL still have not made any changes, and pretty much anybody can still go and buy a football club. Like, Steve Dale, by the way, is the most, look, as much stick, right, as the devil gets, I don't think, look, what he's done is bad. I'm not saying that, but what Steve Dale did, in some ways, is arguably worse. In the sense, especially the way it ended, with them not even existing anymore. And the fact that he bought them for £1, he didn't even know that it was a football club. Like, what? That baffles me. Like, he's there, he's got his quid, £1, by the way, just to put into context. I know everybody knows what a pound is. You could buy sweets for £1. You could buy anything in Poundland for £1. And he bought a football club. That's a pretty decent bargain. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, there's a lot of responsibilities that come with it. But, to buy a whole football club for £1 is a pretty damn good deal. And he's just gone, you know what? I'm not going to care about this. And then, he's ran it into the ground. And now they're not here. And he's still got businesses. He's still making money. He's not in financial trouble. He could have saved that football club, I think. Especially not just in the sense he could have just sold it, but in the sense that he probably had enough money to invest in the club, which he just never did. And he's not been affected by this, really, other than he can never step foot in Bury ever. But, he said he didn't even do that while he owned the club. So, but yeah, that was, that obviously, if you're a Bury fan, which must be horrendous right now, but at least you can almost rebuild. At least, there is something in place that, maybe one day you can, I don't know, can you still go, you can watch 12 tier teams, right? And they still sell tickets and stuff. At least you can at some point get back to watching a form of Bury. Obviously, it's not going to be the Bury that a lot of, especially the older fans that have grown up at the club, essentially. It's going to be a complete new experience for everyone. But, that gets me really annoyed, I'm not going to lie, because, and it also does make me kind of realise, how close we actually were to being in that situation.
Wasn't we 2 minutes off or something?
Well, I don't know, because this is another weird thing about it, right? Which, obviously, I'm not going to complain as a Bolton fan, but obviously I can understand why Bury fans were very annoyed. We got a 2-week extension, didn't we? I think it was 2 weeks, so it might have been 24 hours or something like that. Yeah.
Week.
because the deadline passed and we were still in negotiations, we ended up getting an extension which Bury were never offered, which was what was kind of more infuriating, because obviously especially if there's a deal on the like 15 minutes before the deadline, that should be considered.
They were close with someone as well, and
yeah, they were very close. And then because the deadline passed, they were like, "Oh no, this can't happen." And you know, I don't know why we got the extension, and you know, in the sense of that, we definitely got lucky. But you know, I'm obviously, again, I'm a Bolton fan. I'm not going to complain, but you know, obviously, that is very, very, very frustrating for Bury fans. But I mean, it is what it is. It's happened. Can't really change anything now. I don't know. I think even as well though, the one good thing that came out of that whole situation was the fact that I think it united football fans everywhere, regardless of what team you supported, regardless of if you're in League One, League Two, Premier League, Championship. You know, it did unite the country in a sense, in the sense that everybody was like, you know what, this is wrong and it shouldn't happen. You know, the fact that it's been allowed to get to that stage, it just should never have happened. But it did. And to be honest, I mean, I've said this. I do think, to a certain extent, the EFL are corrupt. I'm not going to lie. Because rather than help, you know, the two clubs that have been around for, you know, they've been around for years, 100+ years. I think if you combine Bury and Bolton's history, I believe it is like over 200 years.
At least 270.
Yeah, like 270 years of history was almost wiped out of existence. Obviously, now, if you're a Bury fan, you're never going to forget that, so it can never be completely, you know, gotten rid of. But, I mean, it's not going to be talked about, you know. Especially us on this podcast, we always, you know, refer to Bolton's past and stuff like that. Obviously, it's more recent past because of that's just because of how old me and Tyler are. But, you know, we're not going to go back to when we were winning the FA Cup because we weren't alive. But yeah. You have to think it was ages ago. But yeah, hopefully, situation like that doesn't happen again. But I think it's almost inevitable though that at some point it's probably going to happen, because the EFL didn't make any changes, at least not that were, you know, acknowledged or anything. You know, for example, as I said earlier, you know, pretty much anybody can still go and buy a football club, assuming you have proof of funds, which we've learned means absolutely nothing, because you can have, you know, like 3 million sat in the blooming bank and go and buy a football club. Doesn't mean that you're going to invest it, right? But yeah, I mean, the main thing that people wanted from that situation was, you know, the EFL to just change their whole like application process of how, you know, owners go in to try and buy football clubs, because just showing a piece of paper that says, oh, I have X amount in the bank doesn't mean you're going to run a football club well. And like I said, us as Bolton fans are very thankful to the Britons that, one, they actually do have the money and are willing to invest it, and two, actually choosing us. Because let's be honest, in some different universe, they probably could have saved Bury instead. You know, you never know. They chose us.
Going back to like the takeover, I think people, like a couple of weeks ago, like months ago, one team from the National League got taken over by a Hollywood actor. Please tell me who I'm on about.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds.
That's mad.
Wrexham Football Club is now owned by Ryan Reynolds.
There is another guy, but I mean, nobody knows who he is. That's why we've only said Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
But
absolutely,
yeah, I mean,
mind blown.
That's mental.
Any celebrity.
When I saw it, you know, on that day, because I think it was leaked first before it was actually announced or whatever, but yeah, I don't know. Ryan Reynolds just started trending, and I was like, oh, you know what? I'll see. I'm a fan of Ryan Reynolds, and then I was like,
I, I was in the
sorry,
car coming back.
I was there.
I was
I
in the
was
car
like,
coming back from a walk,
I
and next
read
minute
it,
on radio.
and I'm like, hang on, Wrexham. First of all, I'd never heard of Wrexham, so I didn't even know it existed.
I have.
So I was there. I was like, Wrexham. Okay, I was kind of just like, oh, you know what? It's probably just some stupid made up thing. And then they actually, I think in the end, I think I saw it recommended on my YouTube when they actually did like they did like a full reveal the other week, didn't they? And it was like they were promoting their sponsors or whatever, and that got recommended to me on YouTube, and I'm like, no way in hell, Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool, has bought Wrexham FC. Sorry. And with the amount of money Ryan Reynolds has got, they could probably approach Ronaldo. Like, that's mad. Obviously, they're not going to, because Ronaldo's never going to go to the National League. But just the fact that, like, no, because, I mean, let's be honest, Ryan Reynolds probably does have enough money to invest into that club. You know, they could, I mean, honestly, Wrexham probably will climb and climb and climb and climb, and eventually will be in Birmingham Premier League just because they've got money. Like,
first, it started with a class in '92 for Salford, and then David Beckham into Miami. Now Ryan Reynolds. Who next?
It's mad, you know. It is actually mental.
There's a certain Paddy McGuinness want to take over Bolton.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Out of all of the people you could have said, I would not have said Paddy McGuinness. I'm not gonna
thinking
lie.
for Bolton anyway.
Yeah,
he's from Bolton.
I get that, but I mean, just in the sense of the person Paddy is, I don't think he'd want that much responsibility, and I don't think I'd trust him with that much responsibility. Just because, you know, I mean, I'm a massive fan of Paddy McGuinness. Don't get me wrong, he's hilarious, but you know, he's still almost. This is I don't know how to say this without offending people, but you know, he's not got the most mature brain, has he? Realistically, he's almost like a big kid, so probably wouldn't. But yeah. I mean, it is mental. You know, the fact that Hollywood even knows that Wrexham existed. I think that's what baffled me more. Was the fact that
went through his mind, like
out of all the places you could have gone for a football club, and you've decided Wrexham. Like, you're from America. You could have gone for a big London
Newcastle. You could have got Newcastle.
I mean, I think I'd choose Wrexham over Newcastle. I'm not going to lie to you, but
they were in talks and so Burnley.
Yeah, but no, but like Ryan Reynolds and that. Honestly, you could have gone for a big club. Like, could have done that quite easily. I'd say probably could have gone for, you know, let's say a Chelsea, for example. Probably could have done. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah, and take over Abramovich.
Yeah, he could have done. He's got enough money to do so.
I don't think Abramovich would have stepped down.
Well, no, but I mean, just, you know, hypothetically, he could have tried to buy other clubs. But yeah, I mean, that's mental. I do think Wrexham are now going to get the best investment, well, ever, because Christ. But yeah, that was a massive tangent we just went on. That was completely, but. I told you, but you know, I said at the start we'd probably end up off on a tangent, which we often do. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this little random trip down memory lane. But yeah, me and Tyler obviously will be back next week on Friday as normal. I think we've covered everything. As we often do, we haven't made notes. So hence why it's all over the place. But yeah, hope you did enjoy this episode. And remember, if you are on YouTube, then go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and also let us know in the comments your score predictions for the game tomorrow. And if you are on the podcast platforms, don't forget to leave us a 5-star rating. And yeah, we will see you next week. And hopefully, Bolton are closer to top 3 because anything can happen. But yeah, peace.